Have you ever heard of the day that the earth stood still? It's not a miracle that the earth still stands today. And it's not a surprise that the earth sometimes shakes with earthquakes. But there's one day that stands out in history when the earth shook like never before. This is the day that the cross stood on top of the hill outside of Jerusalem and Jesus died. This is the day that the earth stood still. Let's read the passage. Matthew 27-45 at noon. Darkness covered the land. From the 6th hour, which is noon, until the 9th hour, that is 3 hours, darkness set over all the land. And about the 3rd hour, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That means, my God, why have you forsaken me? When some of those who heard him say this, surely this was the Son of God. Others said, no, he's called Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee. Why do you blaspheme? But when all the people who had gathered there for this sight saw the earthquake and the things that were happening, they were terrified and said, this is the Son of God. So what exactly happened when Jesus died on the cross? Let's break down these verses. First, darkness covered the land. Imagine being outside and suddenly it's pitch black, like someone just turned off the light switch in the middle of the day. Well, that's what happened. The sun was shining, and then suddenly darkness covered the land. You might say, well, maybe it was a cloud that passed in front of the sun. But no, this was no ordinary cloud. This was supernatural. This was a miracle, and it lasted for 3 hours. Second, the earth quaked. And when the centurion and those with him who were guarding Jesus saw the earthquake and what was happening, they were terrified. Here's the key. The cross did not fall. The cross remained strong and firm. The Son of God was hanging on the cross, and the earth quaked. Third, rocks split. The centurion and his soldiers guarding Jesus didn't just see the earth's quake. They saw the rocks split. Fourth, tombs broke open. Now get this. The people who were dead in their tombs, the corpses, they came out. They left their graves and they walked around as living people. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This is exactly what the Bible says. Fifth, a Roman soldier cried out, truly this was the Son of God. So here's the big picture. When Jesus died on the cross, heaven and earth both responded. The universe itself was shaken because the King of the universe had died. For 3 hours the sun hid its face because it was covering up its glory. But then the sun peeked through the clouds just enough to shine its light on the empty tomb where Jesus had laid. And then the light shone brightly again as if to say, he is risen indeed. This is the day that the earth stood still, the day that the world stood still, the day that the cross stood tall, the day that our salvation stood secure.